Hi everyone, I am Justin and this is my good friend Scout, and we're going to answer some of your exercise questions today. So earlier I asked our members two questions. I asked what makes it hard for you to start your exercise routine, and I also asked what makes it likely that you will get derailed from your exercise routine. And so I'm going to run through these responses that I got. I will make some commentary as I go through the initial responses, but then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about themes. Okay, so the themes that came out of this. So we took all of your words, all of your responses, plugged it into ChatGPT, and we got some really good themes. So let's go through this one by one. And I'm going to superimpose this right up here. So the first person said, same as above, which was not an early morning person, exhausted after work. You're going to notice that I have either colored some of these responses or underlined them if there's a theme that is present. And energy is definitely one of them. So if someone says, same, time and energy, that's going to be a very common theme, time and energy. Then we have injury, thinking I don't have time, busy, and then people write down things like laziness. That's something that a lot of people wrote down. Then we have sore body, again, injury, super common theme here, laziness. Person wrote down boredom, so they get bored with their routine. Not enough time. Time is, again, very common. Or energy. After teaching all day, I always make time for my walk, but then I don't feel like exercising. Hey, walking is exercising. If it's exercise is technically anything that is designed to improve a metric of fitness or maintain a metric of fitness. We have lack of motivation. Muscle soreness. Someone says, since I'm over 50, recovery takes forever, so I skip days. Laziness, again, that's another, like I said, very common. Weather, excuses made as caregiver. Effort, time required. Don't see results in a timely manner. That was another one where people are not necessarily seeing the results that they want in a time efficient manner. Exercise is not habit forming. It's not enjoyable. Huge health issues for parents and caregiving responsibilities. Yeah, that's a tough one when you are, if you're in that position where you're taking care of your kids and your parents, that's certainly tough. Getting busy, exercise gets put on the bottom of the list, not prioritizing it. That's a topic I'm extremely interested in where people can't seem to prioritize exercise. Once I start, I go all in and then I start making excuses and stop. The all or nothing mentality is for sure something that's difficult for people. Another energy one, felt too tired after work. Then we got getting off routine due to work or life, worried about stopping after surgery. Feeling lost and without a clear plan, having directions very important. You want to make sure that you know what you're doing. Time. Not having a supportive community, feeling discouraged by challenging videos or negative talk. That's really common. You want to make sure that what you're doing for exercise fits your present capabilities, might stretch you just a little bit, but you don't want to feel bad after you work out. Which also goes to the soreness part. If you're too sore after you do a workout, you have done too much volume. Okay, so volume is just reps times sets times load. If you're too sore, you've done too much volume than what your body is ready for. So cut back on the volume. You can increase that over time. All right, laziness. And then we have also unrealistic expectations of visible results. Again, very common one. Expecting too much and not realizing it takes time to get in shape. Injuries. Busy, promise to do it later, tennis elbow, not feeling like it's enough. So I'm going to talk about this more. I talk to so many people that have injuries that make exercise challenging. Go see a physical therapist. Go see a personal trainer. Even if it's just for a little bit, it's not worth it to be in pain for years. It doesn't make any sense. I remember I had heard my dad snoring when I was younger, and I said, he's been doing this for 10 years. I'm like, you have sleep apnea. You need to go see a doctor. Now it's under control, but like we tend to just like ignore problems. If you have pain, you need to see somebody. Sorry, that was my tough dad talk. Not for my personal dad, but for you. If you're in pain, you don't need to be in pain, or at least you can reduce that pain. There's certainly a path forward for that. Okay, time and procrastinating. Sorry if I said that already. Once weight loss goal was achieved, stopped exercising. That's the problem with just focusing on outcome goals. Yep. Getting older, arthritis in back and knees, finding time and energy, getting sick or dealing with weather changes. We got back pain and laziness, not fitting in due to hurting or schedule conflicts, boredom, busy or getting bored, hurt or interrupted by life events, work, pandemic difficulty returning to outside classes, routine or habit building challenges, lack of enjoyment or fun. Someone said myself, or lack of accountability. We have surgery recovery led to inactivity and weight gain. All of these pain ones are so common. Overdoing it and causing pain. If you are not positive how to exercise correctly, definitely check out our channel. It's very joint friendly options. But the other thing that I will add, it's great for you to get started, but go talk to a personal trainer. It doesn't need to be a lifetime commitment. It can be something where you're just, hey, I want to make sure that I'm doing this all right. It might be $1,000 upfront investment. I get it, that's a lot of money, but it's going to make sure that you learn how to do something that you can probably do for the rest of your life correctly and safely. I remember I had one guy that was doing all these Orange Theory classes. Not like, it could have been anything. It could be any large group where you're not getting enough feedback from your instructor, and he's like, squats always hurt my knees. Like, well, just like show me how you do a squat. He showed me how to do a squat. He was doing it incorrectly, and that's why he was hurting his knees. We fixed it. Doesn't have any knee pain anymore. All right. Instructors leaving gyms, injuries, and boredom. Boredom seems to be very common. Pain, not losing weight and gaining weight instead. So again, not getting the results we want. We have injuries and surgeries, boredom and injuries, not losing weight, pain, and self-consciousness. So yeah, let's stop there and just break that down with what the themes were. Okay, so theme number one was lack of motivation. And that could be caused by so many different things, but either way, it culminates in, I would rather do something else than exercise, even though one part of my brain really thinks that or knows that I should exercise. You deal with ambivalence. Now, here's why motivation is really interesting. Is that it's necessary for action to take place, but also motivation, especially for things like exercise, goes like this. Maybe you're here one day, maybe you're here the next day, maybe you're here, then maybe you're all the way down here. So we actually did some research on this out at Brandeis, and then something that hopefully will get published soon. But there's a lot of variation within an individual in terms of how motivated they are. So you ask somebody every day, how motivated are you to exercise? Again, it fluctuates. You ask somebody every 3 hours, how motivated are you to exercise later? It's going to change. So there's a problem when you're relying on something that always changes. Imagine that you wanted to go and buy something and your bank account was constantly changing, just like buy it. So it'd be hard. You don't know if you're going to be able to buy this thing because you don't know where you're going to be at. So what I tell people is, don't rely on, like, motivation is important, but reduce the task demand such that it meets where you are in terms of your motivation. So that would be like if you looked at a menu and you're like, I can't afford the $50 thing. Okay, I'm gonna get the $10 thing. Just lower the demand, and that's what I really recommend. Just make it so easy that you can't not do it. I don't know if this is probably not politically correct, but I remember somebody used to say, like, if you got in a fight with a kindergartner, are you going to be worried that you're going to lose? No, you're not going to be worried that you're going to lose, because the task is so easy. Don't fight a kindergartner. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. Don't fight kindergartners, okay? But make the task so easy that you know you're going to win, okay? So with motivation, it's necessary, but like, you need to at least want to do it, but lower the task demand so the task becomes easier. Okay, the next one was time constraints. That was the next theme that we had. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna say that I think that a lot of people could take some time, take a day, not even a day, take an hour, look at your schedule. where can you fit this thing in? Again, this is assuming that you want to do this, but where can you fit exercise in? How can you move some things around? How can you change the expectations for other people that need your time? How can you use your time maybe more effectively? So like today, ended up having a 30-minute gap. Use that for aerobics. Didn't even use the whole time for that. So like I'm going to do my aerobics. My habit is if I don't plug it into my calendar, every day I look at my calendar and I say, when can this happen? And even if it's 30 minutes, I'm going to make sure that I do it. Of course, I'll have like a day off or something like that, but I make sure that it happens. So look at your calendar and see when you can structure these things in. And be honest with yourself too. Like if you really feel like you're so busy that you can't fit it in, then that's unfortunately the way it is, and that's the situation that you're in. Are there situations where you can offload some of your work to other people? I remember I talked to one member and she's just like, I don't know if I can do it after work because I have to make food for the kids. And she had mentioned she had a husband, and I'm like, well, can your husband make dinner twice a week so that you can go and work out? And she's like, I'm not sure if we'd be able to do it right. I'm like, don't let him off the hook like that. Like he can figure it out. He can do it. He can make it. And she's like, oh, actually we have Taco Tuesday. Like everything's all prepared. All he has to do is heat up the meat. I'm like, yes, he can heat up the meat. Use that time. So if you got to like offload some of your stuff, and I've heard this too with partners as well. Like your partner's gotta be supportive, and they have to give you some time. I heard one person told me that they have to do everything. Well, their husband is playing video games. I'm like, that's a load of crap. Like if you want to exercise and he's got to take care of kids and stuff like that, you should not be doing all of the work. Okay. Anyways. Is that my second rant for the day, Scout? Your husband should help you out so you can exercise more. Anyways, I seem crazy. Okay, the next one is physical limitations and pain. I went over this. I kind of went off on a little bit of a rant there, but if you're in pain, you have to see a physical therapist, or it depends on what it is. If it's just joint pain, you might be able to work with a personal trainer. We have somebody that always he had low back pain for as long as he could remember. And he just learned how to do some moves correctly, like specifically engaging your core, engaging your glutes, no more pain. I had somebody that said, like every time I do this lift, it bothers my knees. Here's your modification for it. And the knee pain was gone. So there's people out there that have expertise that you do not have, just like you have expertise that I do not have. Seek out these people. They're going to be able to help you. There's of course going to be some financials there, but would you rather spend $1,000 or be in pain for the next 5 years? And the thing is, every time you put it off, we start to not use those muscles, we start to not exercise, and that makes it's gonna make the situation worse. Okay, boredom, that deals a lot with motivation. I get it that if you're bored, that can make exercise challenging. We tend to do the things that we love. If it's boring for you, right, Scout, you gotta find a reason for what it's in service to. Like you gotta find why you're doing this. Because boredom is something that it's an affective response that's gonna make it hard for you to do these things consistently. So you need to tap into something that is stronger than your lack of, I guess, interest. So like, what is exercise in service to? Why are you doing it? Like, why is it important to you? Find that emotional attachment to it. And what I would also say is if it's bored, you might just be in the wrong room too. Like there's a lot of different options out there. Like we do small group stuff, and it's just, we make sure that it's an absolute blast when we do exercise with folks. So I mean, you might just be in the wrong room. So try some new things out. You might find something that you really like. Routine disruption. Okay. Yeah, so if your routine is disrupted, so if exercise is a habit and your routine is disrupted, even if exercise is not a habit, if your routine's disrupted, you're less likely to do the thing. So let's go with two different responses here. If exercise is already habitual, but it falls apart when there's a routine disruption, you need to make sure that exercise is not just a habit, but that it's also a part of your identity. Super important. If you identify with exercise as a part of who you are going to persist even when these disruptions happen. If you're not there yet, where it's not a habit, make a coping plan. A coping plan is, if this happens, then I will do this. So like, if I need to be the one to pick the kids up from school and I planned on exercising at 3:30, then I will ask my partner to make dinner so that I can exercise, because I did some of that work already. So making sure that you have a coping plan, making sure that you focus on exercise as being a part of your identity. Okay, the other one is unrealistic expectations and slow progress. I use the financial comparison all the time. In my mind, there's really only two things that we really need to do if we want to be okay, and that's make sure you save for your future and make sure that you exercise. I was just watching something. I was on YouTube. It was maybe like CNBC. I don't know, something where these older adults were writing letters to their younger selves, and these people were in financial trouble, and they were saying like open up your 401k as soon as you can, open up your Roth IRA, like do all of these things. And I would say to people, it's the same thing with exercise. Like, the best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is today. Because just like how finances compound, so do the benefits of exercise. And it might not be like a problem right now, but just like how, like, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it might not necessarily be a problem right now, but it's going to be a problem eventually. A lot of people, particularly maybe like my parents' ended up having their last few years being like disabled and sick, not being able to move well, not being mobile, and that's not a situation that anyone wants to be in. But anyways, like with the finances too, when people say unrealistic expectations and slow progress, I mean, imagine if like I just checked my retirement account every single day. Like, oh, it's not budging. You need to think on a longer time horizon, and you need to not just think about like a specific outcome. Like your goal should be to be an investor. Your goal should be to be an exerciser. If you just focus on that, like, I'm going to become an exerciser, the results will follow. But if you're just thinking about the results right away, that's not a good position to be in. And then the last one that I wanted to cover was knowledge gaps. So you're here, that's fantastic. Yes, that goes back to like a trainer's a really, really good idea. So a knowledge gap, how do I put together a program? How do I make sure that I'm doing these things correctly? You know, our YouTube channel does have a lot of training videos, and it does have a lot of Scout. So it has a lot of training videos that you can follow. There's more to it than just what I have. I do have a email list as well. So that's on my YouTube link. So if you want to just click on that, I can send you some messages. We can be in touch as well. But follow our YouTube page. If you're not sure what to do, you might want to seek out professional help. It's not going to take you that long to learn exactly what you're supposed to be doing. There's a ton of resources out there. So once you kind of have that knowledge base, then you need to make sure that you're executing on it. But I appreciate all those responses that everyone gave to me. I hope that this was helpful. I will be posting, again, more videos where we can talk about whatever topics are interesting to you. And it would be great if you would consider subscribing to our channel, right? And until the next time, have a great day.